before you start making it, right? What's going on, everybody, man? What's going on, people? I'm back again. With another live. Last night I was trying so hard to get live, right? So I was, testing out the mic, testing out the everything, man. So right now it's the perfect time, right? Now it's the perfect time. So, sit tight and enjoy as we break this shit down, like, what I'm saying, like we supposed to, right? Also, I want to thank. Hold up. wait. Yeah. So I want to thank everybody that has been been with me for a long time. I want to thank people if you've been there, and if you've known me for a long time, or if you knew and you just happen to to see this. Hey, welcome back. Welcome, and it's great to see you, right? So just whoever you are, you're welcome. So let's share this great good news together, right? Let's share this together and let's grow together, right? So what is that I want to talk about today, and what's the topic of today? But again, I'm not going to really rush into this because I want everybody to be here, right? But I want you guys to understand one thing. You can't, again, like I was told before, right? Like I was told before. You should never judge a downfall of a strong man. So you should never judge a man's downfall, especially a strong man. If you see a strong man fail, do not judge him. Don't judge. Don't look at him and say, "Oh, he's falling." Don't point finger at him and just fall and laugh that he's falling, or call him weak, or call him anything, call him names, right? Judge him for falling down. Instead, you should always see and learn from the strong man, right? That way you don't have to fall. Because remember, it might take something small to make a strong man fall. But that small thing can be stronger, just like in this story. See, Delilah was portrayed as a weakness to Samson, the man that was chosen by God, a man that was chosen by God and feared by man, right? So man feared Samson, man didn't want smoke with him, right? Everybody feared him, everybody respected him, right? And they feared him because of the things he was capable of doing and the things of nature that he had done to the people, right? So people knew Samson. People knew who he was. People knew who Samson was, right? Until Delilah came in. The picture. And again, like I always say, when you see a strong man fall, do not point finger at him. Do not point finger at him. Don't call him out. Don't call him names when a strong man fell. Because the same fate that he faced can be the same thing, or even, can be the same thing that might catch you. So the best thing for you to be or to do is see exactly where he went left so you can go right. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just having to look at him and laugh and point fingers, it's always better for you to just pay attention to what made that strong man fail. Because for somebody to be strong, that means he stands out. That means that not everybody can be strong. Not everybody can have a heart that Samson had. Not everybody was able to kill hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of men by himself like Samson did. So you cannot really, you can't oversee that. You cannot overlook that. You cannot think that strength is nothing. Strength was something, and it is still something. So when a strong man fell, understand He was strong, man. Like, yo, this guy was strong. He knew how to move things. He knew how to make things happen. He knew how to, to go here and there. What made him fail? And why did he fail? And once you know that, see, those are the things that one should know. And once you question yourself, it becomes clear for you to not fuck up. But once you just point fingers and let judgments like blind you from seeing what, like, lessons in what happened to that somebody, you'll be destroyed. You might not be destroyed right now when you're still laughing, but later on you will, right? So the best thing to always do is learn from the strong man, right? See exactly. Don't pity him. Don't try to pity him. Don't try to point finger at him neither. Just see from him, learn from him, and understand, hey, he fell. What made him fail? And what can I do better? Right? Because see, when we read the story of Samson, and I'm gonna get into it. I'm gonna get into that, right? So just bear with me just a little bit. But when you read the story of Samson, you understand that he was at the top, right? He was the top of everything, man. Like, this was the man that the whole state, they knew, not to mess with. Even his enemies, the Philistine, they feared him. And they feared him because of exactly what they knew he was capable of doing. So he was stronger. Like, he was strong. Let's read Judges 16, right? And I'm not trying to be too much preacher, but hey, there's always game in the Bible. If you don't know this, then I don't. You probably you haven't really seen nothing. See, if you really want to be intelligent, you got to pick the Bible, man. You got to pick the Bible, because everything you want to know, strength, last, is in the Bible. Alright, so let's read this. So one day, Samson, he went to Gaza. He met a prostitute. I want you to understand this. So he met a prostitute. She was a prostitute. So Delilah was a prostitute, and Samson was a son of God. Right? So he was a man of God, meaning that he was a man of God. But the fact that he met a prostitute, and like another proverb say that, see, a godly man don't really surround himself with the ungodly, right? So the holy don't really kick it with the unholy, but there he was kicking with the prostitute. And again, this is all, again, when I'm reading this, I don't want you to point fingers at Samson and be like, yo, man, what? I want you to learn, right? I want you to see, like, hey, these are the things that he neglected. These are the things that he ignored that came back on and catch him. Because remember, she was a prostitute. That's one, right? And who is a prostitute? Prostitute is someone who has sex with the person for money, right? So she was a prostitute, meaning that he had to pay her, before even, so, right? So he might had to pay her. So he paid her, this slept with her. So the people of Gaza heard that Samson was in the city. The people of Gaza, these were like his enemies, his ops, right? So they understood that he was in the city, right? So the people of Gaza heard that Samson was in their city. The men met together and they waited for Samson to leave. They hid themselves all night. See, his enemies, they were lurking all night at the gate of the city. So they knew that he was in the city, and they knew that he was with a woman. So what did they do? They kept closer. Like, the enemy is never far. The enemy is always closer. So they was close to Samson, right? They was really close. they hid themselves. That's so obviously. Of course, that's what the enemy does. You never see the enemy coming, right? The enemy is always hiding. The enemy can be anything. The enemy, it can be your last, too much last, meaning you don't have control. The enemy can be, you procrastinating, choosing to scroll over the internet instead of doing something productive. The enemy can be anything, right? The enemy can be greedy. You feel like, whatever you have is not enough, so you want more, and then you end up, messing up and fucking up your relationship with your fellas, with your friends, with your brothers. You end up, again, those things, greedy, jealousy, those are enemies. And the way they come, they don't just come like that. Otherwise, you would pick on them, right? You understand that, hey, I'm getting jealous, man, I gotta chill out. They come slowly. So when you're getting jealous about your friend or even your brother, it starts off slowly. You feel like every time he's succeeding, you don't like that. Every time he's smiling, you feel like, you're not really comfortable. You're not celebrating with him, right? So that's how the enemy comes. So in this state, for Samson, the enemies were lurking. They were hiding. They knew that he was in the city, right? So they waited quietly, and they thought, we will kill him at dawn when he tries to leave the city. So they thought they were in the bush. They were hiding at night, waiting for Samson to come out so that they can catch him and they kill him, right? And again, for those who don't know, Samson, he was a story. He was one of the strongest men to ever live, right? And he couldn't be killed. Like, nobody could reach him. Like, he was ruthless. He was very strong, and he was chosen by God. So he was blessed by God. So people tried to find a way to kill him because he was posting as a threat to the enemies, because God appointed him to be the protector of the Israelites, right? So God chose Samson to be the one protecting his people. So God chose Samson to be the axe for, to be like a god of war, basically, to be like a god of war, for his people, so he can protect his people. So God used Samson to punish the enemies, right? And then Samson, long story short, he got caught into the lust, of a woman, and then he fell down. And then in this story, we're reading how it all went down, right? So bear with me, right? Now, all right. So they thought to themselves, we will kill him at dawn when he tries to leave the city. But Samson only stayed with the woman until the middle of the night. So Samson stayed with the chick, until the middle of the night. And then he got up and he went to leave through the city gate. He took hold of each doors and the two posts that held them. He pulled them all down together. So Samson's strength was just, like, it was buzzing. Like, he was just strong, that he was so strong that he had instincts. He knew that somebody was there. So all he just did was picking them, and shake. Like, he knew his enemies was lucky. So just like a strong man that he wasn't hiding. He wasn't doing nothing. He just went to them and he picked them up and boom, right? And then he picked them all together down. And then with a metal bar that locked them, he carried them all in one piece on his shoulder. He left them at the top of the hill. See, he didn't even kill them. He was just playing with them, right? He was playing with his enemy. Imagine one person carrying two men on his shoulders. Two men. Now that's strength, right? That's really real strength, right? So he was strong, man. He was very strong, right? He was so strong that he didn't have a reason to hide, because again, strong men, we like people to see that. We like people to see that, hey, I can do this, man. I can lift this. We like to be that competitive. So hiding our strength could be it couldn't be good. It could, like, we want people to see the beauty in strength, basically. So even Samson not killing them was because he wanted to show his more of his enemies that, hey, man, I'm stronger than you. I don't even need to kill you, because I can do it if I want to, but I don't have to, right? And that was strength. Strength is being strong, is knowing that you can do something, and just you don't have to do it. You can do something, but then you just don't do it, because you don't have to, right? But a weak somebody, he has to do something, like he knows he has to do something so that the people can learn, right? So now verse 4, he said that, sometime later Samson met a woman who was called Delilah. So now that was the woman, right? She lived in Sog Valley. Samson loved her, right? So now that's where everything fall down, because again, like I always say, man, we don't really fall, like, this love shit is not even in history of manhood. I'm telling you guys, you see, feeling all these feelings, butterflies in your stomach, all this shit, it came to you after years and years and years and years of civilization. For real. Because if you think about it, man, back in the day, the only thing that gave man, chills or something, rush, and like the feeling, like, love for men was war. Love for men was danger. Love for men was hunt. Love for men was thrill. Love for men was, it wasn't something just, like a woman, like something romantic. See, men, even when you read about the story of romanticism and all that, see, women came up. That was a woman thing, because that's how women gained power of a woman, by being romantic, right? By talking in a certain way, offering some small gift to their man. So all these things was done so that the man can see the woman, and be able to, lay their guard down. So seduction and all this was a woman thing, right? But anyway, so you see now here, Samson, he falls in love. He loved her, and the rulers of the Philistines went to visit Delilah. See, when you have a weakness, the enemy sees that, and when the enemy sees that, guess what? He does not attack you directly. The enemy attacks your weakness. So, for example, if your enemy knows that you only think with your dick, guess what he's gonna do? You got it. He's gonna in this state, he's gonna use a woman. He's gonna use anything. He's gonna use a woman to distract you, right? He's gonna use he's gonna use fast food to fuck up your health. He's gonna use whatever to mess up your health, right? See, when the enemy understands and realizes that this is his weakness, that's what he attacks. The enemy is not gonna attack you directly, because he knows that if he attacks you directly, you're gonna fight him. You're gonna fight off him, right? So he's not that stupid to do that, right? So the ruler, right, of the Philistine, these were like the army that was fighting against Israel over the land of Canaan, right? So he went to visit Delilah. They said to her, do something clever to discover what makes Samson strong. So somebody goes, if the enemy doesn't know you exactly, when he can't figure you out, he's gonna try to find people, right? He's going to try to find things, he's going to try to find, I don't know, maybe food. He's going to try a lot of things to see what is your weakness, right? So in this occasion, like the ruler went to the woman, because first the ruler understood that, hey, Delilah, she was pretty, and Samson, just like all of us, he was a man, and we all know, men, we love man, we love that, man. We know this is, we love that shit. We love fucking. You know what I'm saying? That's just like it's an animal thing that we do possess. You know what I'm saying? It's something that we just want to quit it. We just want to hit it and go back to other stuff, right? We don't really like to sit there and romanticize and think about women for 24 hours. No, we want to have it right now and move on to the next. But in this situation, Samson, he was what? He was in love. And when you're in love, you don't really think correctly. See, the reason why a woman can fall in love is because her falling in love, it provides with her safety, and also like she will feel more better, safe, and she will enjoy the rest of her life when she's in love, right? When her guys, obviously she gotta find a strong man that she can trust, right? But like being in love, for women is a strength. But for men, being in love, it's a weakness, because you don't get to think. You don't really think about the right things to do. See, when a man is in love, then a woman, she has to, she has to worry about herself now, because you cannot really protect her. You can't really think correct, because every time you have to think about something productive, you're thinking about her titties. Every time you gotta think about something productive, you think about things you're not supposed to be thinking about at that moment, right? But for a woman, it's okay for her to think like, oh, I can't wait until my man come back, so he can lay me down. I can't wait until my man come back, so I can massage him, so he can like grab me and hold me and make me feel good, tell me good things, and blah 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 blah. For a woman, that's okay. But for a man, it's like, even having that thought, again, we see what happened to Samson. So he was strong, he was feared, he was chosen by God, right? He was the chosen one. God chose him to be the judge above his people, and it's a high place to be as a man, because not all men get chosen. But we're looking at the man that got chosen by God, falling down. So so do something clever. That's what the ruler of the Philistines told Delilah. Find something that makes him so strong. We want to find a way to make hold of him and tie him up. So the enemy knew the woman, she was a prostitute. So anything he was gonna say, she was gonna like. She didn't like him. She had nothing to do with Samson. She never loved Samson, right? So he told himself, find what makes him strong. We want to find him, tie him up. If you do that, we will give you 1,100 pieces of silver. Now that's a lot of money, and back in the day, these people, they use silvers, right? So Delilah said to Samson, basically she agreed. And then at night, Delilah said to Samson, please tell me, what makes you so strong? How could someone tie you up so that you become helpless, right? So this is a woman, just a hooker. You get together, the enemy is using her to get to you. That's why, again, you cannot be in love, because once you're in love, your brain don't really, like, your brain is not there. Your brain is not really, if anything, the capacity of your brain is only functioning at 2%. You're only thinking 2%. So the 98, the remaining 98% out of 100 is gone. You're only thinking 2%. So Delilah, she asked Samson, how can we tie you helplessly? So Samson replied. And remember, again, those who don't know the story, Samson was not supposed to cut off his hair. Like, God told him, like, look, the day you cut off your hair, the day you let anything catch up, any razor go to your head, that's the day you're gonna die. So basically, life, like, Samson knew knew his destiny. Like, he knew that, hey, this is my life basically that I'm putting in this woman's hands, right? So Samson knew this, right? So, Samson goes ahead. Samson replied, he says, someone would have to use 7 new strings for bows. And for those who don't know, bows are ropes, very strong ropes that are used to tie around the horse, and then the horse can carry it. They're very strong, right? So if somebody used new, the strings must not have become dry. If they use those strings to tie me up, I will become weak like other men. So, this is Samson telling her, basically, See, because, look, again, he wasn't thinking. See, even, because you should ask yourself, right? Why would a woman ask me something like this? Now, obviously, people might say, oh, she was curious. Maybe the first thought for Samson in his mind was like, oh, she's curious how I'm strong. How am I strong? How am I able to resist the temptation? How am I able to, to just not give in? How am I able to not just, to not just let myself be driven by the pussy? So this is a woman asking me, how come you don't let pussy control you? How come pussy has no power over you, yet you like it so much? So Samson knows, right? But again, maybe he knew that, oh man, look, man, maybe she's just being curious. So he told her. And then, so the Philistine ruler gave Delilah 7 new strings for bows. She used them to tie Samson up. While he was asleep, some Philistine men hid in a room of her house. Then she shouted, Samson, the Philistines are here. But he broke the 7 strings very easily. They were like thin cotton that a fire burned, so they did not discover the secret about his strength. That was the first red flag. I told you something about me. You knew something about me, and you used that something about me against me, and you did exactly what I told you to do. And when I woke up, I saw my enemies in the house. Again, guys, think about this. I don't want you to say, oh, Samson was dumb. No. Put yourself in his shoes. You're so much in love. I know, guys, you've probably been in love. You've did so many things that you, right now, if they ask, like, right now, you probably ask yourself, man, I can't believe I was even thinking about that. That was the same thing. So if, let's say, you resurrect Samson right now, you bring him in this generation, you give him this game that I'm giving you guys, Samson gonna be like, yo, man, that was crazy though. I can't, like, if you show him the tape, he gonna be like, yo, things like the bullshit was clearly in my face, man. Like the chick, she was literally setting me up, but I wasn't I wasn't in love, man. I was in love, like you saying, Brutus. That's how Samson was gonna be talking to me. He was gonna be really seeing, and reliving, re-experiencing what I'm saying right now, right? So in this situation, he wakes up, he found his enemy, and he find the guy, with the ropes, the same ropes he told her. That was the first strike. But again, when men are in love, they disregard things. They let things slow. They let things go. They let shit fly. They let things slide. They're like, man, that's not that serious. And that's exactly what comes back, right? So Delilah said to Samson, right, you have deceived me, and this is the shaming tactic that, most women try to be, once they know they love you, obviously, that's when they're like, oh my God, you have deceived me, as if I was a fool. Tell me the truth. How can someone really make you weak? You know what I'm saying? So somebody so much invested, somebody so much, like, he wants to know your, again, that's an ego too. Like, that was a an ego part of Samson, whereby he wanted to, and most men have this, you wanted to show everybody that you're strong. You want to show everybody that you got it. You want to show everybody that, you the top dog and you're the man in this building. You want to show everybody, right? So it's an ego thing. So maybe that's why he told on himself. But even with that, the enemy is asking you about your weakness, and this weakness, it's not like most weakness of people. You fall sick. This weakness is something very unique, because with this weakness, once it's discovered by your enemy, your life will be done. You will be killed, right? But because he was in love, because he was all way in love, this is what happened. So in this verse 10, the Delilah, she's been having a conversation with him. She's so sad, and so she's tapping in his feminine energy. Like she's touching on his soft side, on his like, cause he's in love already like her. So, and remember, Ashley wasn't in love, Ashley was about her cheddar. She was really about the money, the silver that they gave her. So everything she was doing it for love. She was doing it for the silver. But Amy was mad in love, right? So she took if you're very weak, if you're very weak mentally, you're gonna lose. Because Samson was weak. And this is what you need to learn, right? This is what you need to learn today. Is that, see, if you're weak mentally, the physic don't really mean nothing. Like if your spirit is weak, if your soul is weak. Because remember, guys, like I said from the beginning of the video, there's big arms, big shoulders. This is like a costume that you be wearing. Like the real you, that's a strength, again, like a cloth. It can go away. But what you have inside you, the strength that you have within you, you was born with those strength. You will grow with those strength, and you will die with those strengths. And with those strength, if God permits it, you'll pass it into your child. But these are the strength that they don't go away. Meaning that if your spirit is strong, and I'll break this down, not in this live, but with the short video that I'll be making, right? When you have those strength, when you have that capacity of being that strong inside, and then the outside, it becomes a perfect combo. You know how you go to McDonald's and then you order for like a Big Mac combo? It comes with drinks, it comes with fries and everything just perfect. That's how it's gonna be if you are as strong inside even more. See, I'd rather you be more stronger within you than outside. I'd rather you be have muscles inside with your brain, like your spirit is very strong to fight off small weakness, lust, jealousy, envy, fear, sadness, all this, because all these things that weigh you down can beat the physical. See, with the physical, somebody can attack you and you can push him down, and he will run away. But when you're weak mentally, and you fall into a state, you fall into a state of situation whereby nothing is going your way. Your muscles don't mean nothing. You're gonna have to, you will kiss people's ass just because everything is going bad. Man, I done seen so many people fold. They're strong, they're big, they're tall, they're short. But when adversity presents itself, they fold. Even in a fight, they lose or whatever, they fold. But guess what? When your spirit is stronger, you don't know defeat. When your spirit, you might be dying, but you don't know death when your spirit is stronger. So whatever I'm making these videos, guys, my aim is that you can see what I managed to see and train myself to be every day. How I managed to see myself every day. Again, guys, like I always say, just you and me, just like you and me, just like me who you watching right now, we are all learning. Because remember, guys, as a man, you never stop growing, you never stop getting stronger. So what I tell you, that every time I wake up, I think on how to be strong. I think on how to fight, these small enemies, procrastination, these things that are actually holding me down. Because remember, guys, see, if you're strong, if your spirit is strong, you don't need discipline. All you need is a new life, a new day, and you do what needs to be done. Like, basically, you don't need no motivation. You wake up, you make things. When people say, "Oh man, I'm struggling with porn," when your spirit is strong, all you do is a decision. And once that decision is done, guess what? That decision is mad. Like, you're not gonna, no matter how much, setbacks, feelings, being old. And I don't believe, men, we get only because we get excited, right? But that feeling of wanting something, of wanting a woman next to you, no matter how strong that feeling might be, you're gonna put that on the side, and you're gonna do some things that are you're gonna do some things that are very relevant to you. Why? Because your spirit, that's what it yearns. Your spirit is looking for something stronger so they can conquer. Your spirit, it wants that to be a challenging. See, your spirit does not just want comfort. When your spirit is stronger, it always looks for challenges. You know what I'm saying? Like, when your spirit is stronger, it wants to be in a situation whereby, like, it has to test itself. Cause why? Because your spirit is stronger. But when your spirit is weak, guess what? Things like sex, they become, they become your weakness. Money becomes your weakness. Friends becomes your weakness. Family becomes your wife, become your weak. Everything around you, you become a weak somebody. You become Batman. You know what I'm saying? When you're supposed to be more than Superman, you're supposed to be the sun, right? So let's continue and see how he failed, man. But again, guys, like, when we read this, I want you to learn a lesson here. See, Samson, he had everything figured out. He had strength, but he had lacked strength of the spirit. Because stronger is what is in you than that which is in the world. See, when something that is in the world is able to conquer you, money, fame, and woman, and whatever is able to conquer. Now again, I'm not saying having these things is bad. We should all aspire to have these things. But once these things start to conquer you, once your job becomes, start running you instead of you having to run your job, then that's when you're losing up, you're fucking up. Because once Samson was running Philistine, everything was good. But once he started getting ran by a woman, everything fell down, right? So you should always, in everything you do, you should always be, because remember, guys, a woman should love you in your strength. Because that's the only way when the society needs you. The society wants you to be strong. The society wants a strong leader. We all want a strong president. We don't want a president that doesn't know how to make decisions. We all want a president that knows how to make decisions and stick to them. No matter how many times it may hurt some other people, we want a president who has a strong presence and also who has a strong spirit. Because only with a strong spirit, you are able to stand on something. You know what I'm saying? So Delilah said to Samson, you receive me, what can make you? And then Samson started telling himself, you must tie them into the cloth that is on the loaf, fix them very strong. If you do that, I'll be weak. So he told her again. Now, was this the truth? Let us find out. Like, Delilah did this, so she did again. What does this resemble to? This resembles to you talking, maybe you have a girlfriend, you talk to her, you tell her what to do. First time you told her what to do, She didn't do it. And then she told you that she forgot. And then you let it go. You let it be. You let it slide. You know. And then the second time it happens again. And you still convinces yourself that she likes you. You still convince yourself that she want to be with you. Right? Even though all you're telling her, you're giving her all the small tasks you're giving her to do, she doesn't want to do. And remember, guys, a woman, she's as free as she can be. You know, women have a free will, just like we all do. You know, we all have a free will to say yes or no to some things, right? But why is it that I will say that in the next video. I will say that. But anyway, what I'm saying, guys, is that, see, a free will that a woman has is that free will that whereby she's with you because she want to be with you. But then you see that, hey, she's had so many strikes, and I keep letting slide. I keep like speaking for her. I keep, babysitting her, like, yo, So you do everything to try to find a reason to her bullshit. And then when the end comes, you become what? You become very disappointed in yourself, right? So, so fast forward, they did this, and then, and then like Samson, like, so he told her so many things, and then he was literally playing with her. And then in verse 15, then Delilah said to him, I realized that you do not really love me. You know what I'm saying? So, woman, this is what she said. But even today, it comes a lot. A woman might say, oh, you really don't love me, because if you loved me, you was gonna, buy me this. If you loved me, you was gonna do. So women, they say things because they know that weak men, they're gonna react. Because me, I already say, a strong man is more like Yujiro. If you watch Baki, you should watch Yujiro's character. Now, most people, they don't agree with Yujiro. They say he's an asshole, he's this and this. But I'm telling you guys, if you really want to be that, if you really want to be that strong man, watch what Yujiro does. Nothing stops him. He has no weakness whatsoever. Like, weakness for him has to be banished. You know what I'm saying? Meaning, like, a woman saying, like, oh, you don't love me, you don't do this for me, because if you did this for me, that meant you love me. Guys, all that is used to control you, just like here, to manipulate your feelings. So she finally told, she told Samson, she's like, I realized that you do not love me, because you will not tell me a secret. You have deceived me 3 times, as if I was a fool. You have refused to tell me what makes you so strong. She continued to say the thing to Samson many times. So she continued repeating to him, like, oh, you don't love me, you don't love me, you don't love me. So she used love as a way to get to him, right? So she repeatedly told Samson that he didn't love her. So finally Samson told her his secret. And this is where everything collapsed, right? If someone cuts off my hair, I would have no more strength. I'll become as weak as many others. So then he split the tea, like people always say, he told on himself. So Delilah realized that Samson had told her the truth. She realized that he had fucked up. She knew she could in her woman, think, her woman psychic, she felt it, that it was the truth. She felt that, hey, finally, man, finally. So she realized that Samson had told her the truth. She sent a message to the rulers of Philistine. She told them, Samson now told me his secret. So come back once more. See? So she told his enemy, she's like, so come back once more. So the Philistine ruler went to visit Delilah again. They took their pieces of silver with them. Delilah made Samson sleep with his head on his knees. right? So she mad, like literally, this guy was so much in love that even the way he was sleeping, man, like he wasn't there. So she made him sleep on his knees, you know. She made him sleep on his knees, and remember, guys, being on your knees, it, it's a sign of submission, right? So she made him sleep on his knees, you know. She made him sleep on his knees. So she called the man to come and cut off the seven tails. Seven tails of Samson. These were the hair, like the braids they were, before they used to call them tails, right? So this made Samson helpless, that he had no more strength. And so this was the truth. The strong of the strongest man had no longer strength. So basically his hair was like steroids. You know what I'm saying? Like once you no longer pop your steroids, you become weak, right? You really become like regular. You become like everybody else because you no longer use steroids, right? So you become like anybody else. Now, so once they cut his hair, it made Samson helpless. Now, you know what it means to be helpless as a man? That just means that your mind is so much closed up that you don't even know what to think no more. You don't even know what to be, because you are in a state of mind whereby, like, wow, everything is messed up, right? So guys, again, I have like 10 minutes to finish this, so let me go as quick as possible. So she called the man to come. So when the man came, Samson started feeling helpless. Then Delilah shouted, "Samson, the Philistines are here." And notice, guys, every time this guy was with Samson, he was with Delilah, somehow he was sleeping. Somehow he was, he was not aware of his surrounding. And that's one thing, like, even because, again, guys, I love anything that have to do with history, man. So I was reading the thing that, see, men back in the day, you had to sleep like this. Like, you had to, like, if let's say you had built a tent, because those tents were not really secure. Even some of the cavemen, like most of the cavemen, they had to sleep with one eye closed and the other one open. And of course, I'm not in a sense that like this, of course not, but in a sense that when you're sleeping, at least your spirit needs to be aware of what's going on. So meaning that if you hear something like this, you automatically get your spear or get your spade, get your panga, and you're ready to, you know what I'm saying? You're ready to snatch something. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because you were, all as a man, you was always surrounded by wild beasts and by some other, like, like intro tribe, people who were ready to take you down and your family and kill all your family. So it was necessary for a man as a protector to always stay alert. But in this situation, every time Samson was with Delilah, we saw this story. He was sleeping. And every time, like, she was calling him, you know what I'm saying, to be like, yo, the Philistines are here. But so Delilah, she saw it. She's like, yo, So he woke up and he thought, I will make myself free as I have always done before. So this in his brain, right? When she woke him up, he was saying like, man, I've been here before. Quit playing with me, girl. Man, I'm gonna do the same thing, right? Just like most men do. It's like, oh man, I fucked that raw, man, and that pool, my pool game was tight, so I'm gonna do the same thing. And they do the same thing. Guess what happens? You get the child, and the child you getting is with Delilah, with the woman like Delilah. Guess what she gonna do? You got it. You guessed it, right? So stop trying to be so much neglecting shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, stay alert. But again, in this situation, my man, his weakness, he was not a lot. So in his mind, he thought he was gonna do the same thing that he always does, to wake up and tear shit up and stop, killing and beating up the Philistines. But in this time, though, it was never the case. So the Philistine took him. So when he woke up, he did not realize that the Lord had gone away from him. So in our situation, when you lose, when you give your strength to a woman, when you lose, or when you say, man, I'm just strong, and you become proud, you start letting in, you start letting, jealousy, ego, you give up your strength. Even the Lord himself, he leaves. Because again, guys, me, I always say, God loves strong people, meaning that God, he wants to see that you are strong. And when I mean strong, I don't mean physical strong. I mean spiritually strong. Your spirit has to be stronger, meaning that when you stand on business, you gotta mean business. When you say something, you gotta mean business. You gotta tell the truth. You can't be a sex. French people say sex faible. Meaning that you can't be a sex slave. Meaning that a woman, she can spit on your face, she can call you names, she can beat you, slap you, and you gonna still sleep with her. See, when guys see that, when you see how, man, you ridiculous yourself in front of a woman, or just the general, God is like, you know what? I'm out of here. Now either you believe in God or not, understand, see, when God see you are, because God knows you're not weak. Literally, God knows that you are not weak, because he created you in his image. So I was created in God's image. So every time he see you doubtful, you very hazy, you just shy. Again, guys, being shy, this is not true. Cause look, if you were shy, guess what you was gonna be? You wasn't gonna even think about doing anything productive. Let's say you see a woman on the street. If being shy was your nature, the thought of you being like, damn, man, she fine, you wasn't gonna have that thought. The only thing was in your mind that was gonna come was gonna be when you say guy. What happens to you when you say guy? You just look at you, what up, bro? Was good. That's all. You don't really think about anything. But because God knew that you are strong, you are a man, but you just don't know that. Like, you forgot that. Because again, with time, with YouTube, with internet, Instagram, YouTube, and all that, you listen and you hear a lot of more people programming you and telling you and breaking down your character, who you truly supposed to be, right? So again, guys, I'm rushing because I gotta go somewhere. But I want you guys to understand this, man. I want you guys to understand that, see, when they took him, the Philistine took hold of Samson. They cut off his eyes, so they they took his eyes out, right? They took his eyes out. They tied him up with a bronze chain. They made him do hard work on as their prisoner. So again, once a woman, she runs over you, once you become a weak somebody, guess what's gonna happen? You become a nothing. Nobody respects you. People start running you, pushing you down, even though you're strong. It's meaning your muscle don't mean nothing once you're beaten. Like, if you really, once your spirit is beaten and God has left you, you might as well be dead. And if you read this story, you're gonna see that Samson, he begged God, he cried for God for help, so that God can give him strength to be, at least to die with his people, because he knew he had fucked up. You know what I'm saying? He knew he had fucked up. So he was their prisoner. He was the prisoner of the world. He was a prisoner of his enemy. He had to push a heavy stone to make the grain. So again, what are we saying today? What is the heavy stone? Heavy stone, that's child support. You're fucking with the wrong bitch, and then she puts you on child support, and all you're pushing is what? You're putting money in her pocket. You know what I'm saying? You might have a child, but maybe that child is probably eating 2 times a month, 2 times a day, right? And the rest of the money, she's eating that, right? And the reason why is because you've been weak to realize that you was all in love until you was no longer. You thought she was in love until she wasn't. And then till you realize that she wasn't, and then she put you into some fucked up shit, right, guys? So every time you go to the gym, guys, I want you to always remember this. Yes, this is only a suit. As I can go to Simon's and buy me a costume, This muscles, me lifting this is a suit. Like, I need to look physically fit, but let my inner me be stronger than my physique, because the physical follows the inside, and the inside rules. So if your inside is weak, it's gonna rule off of the body, and your body is gonna be weak. You know what I'm saying? Now, if the inside is strong and the body outside is maybe not strong, guess what? You, like, people gonna feel that you're strong. Even those who are weak inside but strong physically, they're gonna feel you. Why? Guess what? Because you have something they don't. You have inner strength. You have strength that only God gives, and those strength that God gives, they create your spirit. You know what I'm saying? That's your spirit. And how you build those strength? You build those strength by being in a situation that is not comfortable. You know, tell that bitch to kick rocks. You know what I'm saying? Tell that woman to leave, and don't even think about her. Don't pedestal. Don't put sex on a pedestal. You got business to take care of, man. Take care of that business before anything else. I don't care if somebody call you. I don't care if Instagram, you see something catchy. Don't look at anything until you're done what you done. See, making decision that is going to push you forward, making decision like a man, and standing on business, that what makes your spirit stronger. And when your spirit is stronger, guess what? You don't become nobody's slaves like these people. Like Samson. Because Samson, once he fucked up, it was a done deal. You know what I'm saying? So, again, when the people saw what had happened to Samson, they praised their gods. So when people see that you fell, when people see a strong man fell, guess what? Everybody rejoices. Nobody, kids, babies, moms, husbands, children, teens, everybody loves it when a man falls. They praise their God. They said, "Oh, our God has let us catch our enemy. He was the enemy who destroyed our land and who killed many of us." So you think that when you're weak and when you were strong, there is things you did. There is people you pissed off, right? There is some mountains you were able to move. And when you fall, that's why, guys, I always say the only strength you can find is in God. Either you believe in God or not, find God. You know what I'm saying? Like, find a superior being that is not on the outside, that is not Mary. I'm not talking about statues. I'm talking about God. You know what I'm saying? And when I talk about God, I'm not talking about a man that you can see in face. No, God. Nobody has ever seen God. I've never seen God. And somebody who come talk to you and tell you they have seen God, they're probably lying to you. God is just is. You know what I'm saying? Like, He is. Just understand that above you there is a almighty being that you came from. So you have to reflect that almighty being that you came from. And the way you reflect that is by being strong and representing Him. So when you get weak, when you let yourself surrender to weakness, and He don't really lead you, He don't guide you, guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna fall down. Alright, guys. So again, you can continue the story, but as you see, they made him stand between the pillars of the temple. A young man held Samson's hand to help. Imagine a boy helping the strongest man. So Samson said to him, "Put me wherever I can touch the pillar which hold up the temple's roof. I want to rest my body on them." The temple was full of men and women, and as well as all the Philistine rulers. About 300 people were on the roof as they watched Samson. So many people, again, like I said, when a strong man fell, everybody wants to see him fall. Everybody, because it makes those people feel, it makes them happy that he has failed, right? So they were laughing at him. Samson prayed to the Lord, "Remember me, Almighty Lord. Please make me strong again one more time. I want to punish the Philistine because they cut out my two eyes." So this is Samson was, and then he got ready to push. Samson shouted, "Lord, let me die with the Philistine." Then he pushed the pillars again. This was just the spirit of that wild spirit. You know what I'm saying, of life or death. I like to call it a wild spirit. It's the spirit where you like, look, either I live or I die, right? So he shouted to let me die with them. Samson shall let me die with the Philistine. Then he pushed the pillars with his strength. The temple fell down on the rulers and all the other people. In that way, Samson was killed. More people as he did than he had killed while he lived. Then his brothers and all his father's family came to get his body. They carried it back home. They buried him in the grave of his father Manoah, that was between Zorah and Eshcol. Samson had led Israel for 20 years. So he was a king, right? He led these people for 20 years. And then that was the end of him, right? That was the end of him. Giving his strength to the woman, right? But again, guys, like I always say, man, understand. Going to the gym is beautiful. You should always exercise your power. You should always exercise your capacity, your will. You should always do that. You should always go for it. You should always try your best to look better. But always remember, that don't mean nothing if your spirit is weak. That don't mean nothing if your spirit is not one with your mind. Your soul is weakened, right? And I always say, the only way for you to find out if you're weak or if you're strong, just see through your life, man. Look through your life. Look through your friend. Look through the decisions that you make. You know what I'm saying? Because remember, guys, I go to the gym myself. You probably go to the gym too, which is good. Again, like I said, really, I've seen many young men go to the gym, lift up, bulking and being all this strong. Now, that's all beautiful. It's beautiful. That's beauty, right? That's very beautiful. You want to be great. You want to flex and, and be able to see this, right? You want to be that, right? But don't forget, put God above everything. Because if anything, God will give you the strength to look at that woman in the eyes and tell her, not today. God will give you the strength to look at that woman and tell her, get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? God will give you the strength to literally stand on business with anybody, right? With anybody. No matter how much he's going to. See, God is going to give you the strength, the wow. Look, people always talk about testosterone and all this manly stuff. And me, I always say, man, look, see, if you have God, and I'm talking about, because look, God is the creator of all human beings, right? We all came from him. Now, I don't know if you know God or not. I'm not telling you to be a Christian. I'm not telling you to be a Catholic. I'm not telling you to be anything. All I'm telling you to understand is realize that there is God. There is God above all. Meaning that our God that exists, he is living. And because he's living, today you're living. So you have to stand and you have to shine. You have to showcase the power, his power through you. So obviously your kid's going to be healthy because the God in you is healthy. Obviously my kid's going to be powerful because the God in me, he's all powerful. Obviously when I talk to people, they're going to receive the message because I'm not the one talking. The God who is above all, he's the one that is talking. You know what I'm saying? So guys, everything, man, is all inside you, man. Like never give your strength to anyone else. Remember, once you give up your strength, even the God that is within you, he leaves you. And when God leaves you, the world falls around you. Just like Samson did. His world fell and he died. His legacy was written on the stones as the man that died with his enemies, but as a failed man that died with his enemies. You don't want to die like a failed man. You want to die like a man who lived, right? So you lived and you succeeded. You did not die as a failed man. You lived. But again, like I said, do not judge Samson. You probably could have done something too, but he did never knew better. But we who know better, let us stand on better. Let us stand on business. All right, guys. So thank you for watching. If you have watched this, nice to see you, man. It's a pleasure. And yeah, man. May God be with y'all, man. May God be with y'all. And see you guys around. Peace. I'm out.